I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. We've had a big comic book week the last couple of weeks. Wanted to do something a little bit more fun in nature. We're going to talk about 6 inconvenient comic book truths with my good friend Perch from the Comic by Perch podcast. How you doing, Perch?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Loving life, enjoying things right now. Wanted to talk a little bit about comic books, maybe have a little bit of fun with it, talk about some things that maybe people don't always think about when they're reading these superheroes.
Okay, excellent. Let's do it.
Number 1, Superman and Lois never had intercourse, at least on Earth. There's no way, right? They would have to find a red sun. That's the way they did John. There's a good chance that Clark Kent himself is a virgin.
Yeah, I think that theory's been floated before. Sure. I think red sun, power dampeners, maybe he's wearing some kind of kryptonite condom. Who knows?
Absolutely.
There's a couple things that could be going on there. Maybe he's just got really good pullout game. We don't know.
Yeah, but he'd still blow a hole in the wall. You know what I mean?
Well, sure. But I mean, that's just you tilt it to the side and you fire out the window.
Like, oh no, you killed your neighbor.
Yeah. Just like pepper spray all against the wall. I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different things that could go on there, but I think that's definitely one of those cases where if you think it through, it's impossible. So absolutely. I think a lot of comic writers just don't think it through.
And then you've got Wonder Woman out there. Like in theory, perhaps an Amazon could take a Kryptonian load, but I'm not even sure about that.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, she can't run as fast as him, so we'd. How you could take that comment a lot of ways. Look, I think that did not come out right. Is what she said.
Hey, that's what Superman said.
That is exactly right. No, it's one of those funny things where I mean, maybe this explains why Lois is so pissed all the time.
That's why she's cranky.
Yeah,
Clark isn't keeping up his end of the bargain.
I think everybody else knows this, and that's why they have to compliment her so much. It's like, you're my favorite reporter, because they know she's just like, frustrated. And I mean, he's got X-ray vision, so like she can't even cheat on the side. He'd know.
Absolutely. He can feel her heartbeat. She knows when she's lying. And so whenever I see like the Superman, like Clark Kent and Lois making out, like as the transition scene, like there's something's happening, I know. They're clicking the TV on and they're watching Night Court or something. There's no way anything is happening there because it's far too dangerous.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a rough, I don't know. It's gotta be a rough relationship in a lot of ways, but it's about more than just sex, Wes.
Absolutely. They make it work. There's another inconvenient truth. We've been reading Daredevil, Chip Zdarsky. He's in jail. I don't know that he should be in jail for murder. He's made a couple of bargains now, and as long as he turns the right people in, he's going to get out. But he should stay in jail, and he's likely doomed Hell's Kitchen after what he did. If people don't remember, he literally aided Elektra in stealing like $3 billion that she used to buy back Hell's Kitchen, which would be illicit funds. And likely, Elektra took them across state lines, which would make it a federal case. The whole federal government could seize all of Hell's Kitchen, throw Daredevil in jail for 20 years. He would deserve to be there. And they would just sell off Hell's Kitchen to the lowest bidder, likely the destroy mines themselves.
Yeah, or Walmart or something like that. Yeah, they could gentrify that neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, the way that comics are getting a little lazier lately, and I like Chip Zdarsky and everything else, but in terms of kind of explaining some of these plots of where money is coming from and how things are going, I mean, it is... a lot of this stuff doesn't work out. It's illegal. You can't just like find money. In this case, they stole the money. But I mean, you can't just do this kind of stuff, make these kinds of transactions. The entire how this financial process took place is Elektra truly a U.S. citizen? Could she buy all this property? Like there's
is she incorporated?
Yeah, but you can't just. There's pieces to this that do not work financially.
Absolutely. He's likely screwed everybody over because Stro Mines are possibly, the family that owns Walmart are going to scope in there. They're going to buy Hell's Kitchen, pennies on the dollars, and then they're going to, raise rent and screw them all over. Like you said, kick them all out on the streets.
That's right. Turn it into a big theme park.
Absolutely. So Matt Murdock, I love him and I'm enjoying the run, but he's absolutely, he should be in jail. He should be in jail for a very long time. Stealing $3 billion is not a small offense in and of itself.
Not unless you're Jeff Bezos.
Unless you're Jeff Bezos or the Ponzi scheme guy got like 300 years.
That's true. Yeah, there you go.
So, Matt Murdock would be in jail for a long time. What's another one? Oh, yeah. There's no way that Flash is probably actually a mass murderer. We saw what happened in Heroes in Crisis where he couldn't control the Speed Force and he blows up. And we saw Future State where he gets taken over by one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse and he's murdering everybody. That being Wally West. But really, anybody with Flash powers, even if they have the suit which protects them, if they're running down the street like you're watching in the CW, every single person that they walk by is exploding into a pool of blood. Just via the sheer mass and velocity of the character.
Yeah, I mean, there a lot of these heroes when they move around. I mean, like you ever see this scene where like Superman will fly through the air and you see he's breaking the sound barrier and clouds are parting around him and everything else. I mean, him just flying by buildings would rip those buildings out of the ground and things would fly everywhere. Generally speaking, I think most of the heroes are killing people every day, everywhere. I mean, like I said, Flash running very quickly would just be ripping the skin off people. And the draft would be just people be sailing into the sides of walls and canyons and other things. I mean, he'd be leaving just bodies in his wake. Most of these heroes are killing people constantly. That's the uncomfortable truth.
It is the uncomfortable truth. I mean, you watch the last act or last part of Man of Steel, which I didn't like, but there's some truth to that. You know, they probably killed 1 million people. At least. Yeah. No, that town's all screwed up. Absolutely. No, all of them. I mean, almost all of them. I think Aquaman, I mean, he's not doing anything. But generally speaking, most of these guys, they're killing people constantly. Absolutely. It's always, it's not like Flash wants these people to die, but he can't stop himself from being fast. And they would literally just blow up into blood particles, and it would be a gelatinous mess. It would be awful in whatever city he was surveilling at the time.
Sure. I mean, in the 80s, Green Lantern used to cart people around in his ring. He'd create a little bubble and he'd float people around. And there were scenes of him traveling through space with people in this little bubble and things. The oxygen would run out very quickly in that bubble.
Yes, he was suffocating them.
Yeah, he's just killing people. He'd get to wherever he was going and there's corpses everywhere.
Absolutely. They got a good view for the finality, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go back to Marvel. We got Peter Parker. Everyone likes Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
And this isn't me. This isn't your fault. This is Marvel Comics and what they've done. Peter Parker, he's kind of a simp. Look what happened with Sin's Past. You see him on Felicia Hardy's couch with, whatever my feminist agenda t-shirt is. As she treats him like crap, but he keeps coming back.
Yeah. No, he it's hard to say what's going on with Peter. Like he had that relationship with Mockingbird that we never really saw, where he was on her couch and he's on Felicia Hardy's couch, and I mean it's like I can't tell what he's doing as a hero who, in theory, has some game. I mean, he was a billionaire at one point himself as this kind of tech genius who owned the Baxter Building and other things. I mean, but he has no girl game at all.
No. It's weird because you look at the early days, he pulls Gwen Stacy, very attractive character. Of course, we go on to find out he never did the deal. He never sealed the deal, but Norman Osborn did.
Yeah.
And then, once she passes away because he made a little mistake, he didn't quite save her, he's able to rebound with MJ. Those are good numbers. That's a good start for the character. But they just they haven't been able to keep it going, Perch.
It feels like after they dissolved the marriage, they wanted to make a character. I mean, according to Quesada, they want to make a character that more comic fans and comic writers could identify with. And apparently that meant a character who never gets any.
Simping ain't easy was the way to go with the character, so more comic readers could relate to it.
Hey, Joe's words, not mine, but I look, I mean, I agree. It's weird. And, I don't know what's going on with Peter. It's a shame. It's just a shame.
It is a shame, but it's hopefully it gets better. It feels like they're going to restore the marriage somewhat soon before Nick Spencer leaves Spider-Man. Maybe he'll get his game back. Maybe get some of his some of that aura back. But
they're putting him in the hospital. I mean, there's these shots of him in a hospital bed, all hooked up to a bunch of things. He's not going to be able to, get on that in traction. That's not going to work.
He's certainly not going to be able to perform when he's in a full body cast.
No, I mean, not at all.
Yeah. Hopefully they fix it. Seriously, on a serious note, do you think Peter dies or do you think MJ dies at the end when they go and elope and break the Mephisto deal?
I think nobody dies.
You don't like my theory?
No. I think they'll keep both alive.
Man, that feels like a personal attack, Perch.
Yeah, well, there you go.
All right, then. That's a personal attack. I'll take it, I guess.
We'll see. Yeah. Still won't get any, though. He'll still be just standing there.
He's got he's probably got a cast on his dong. You know what I mean? They probably
gotta relate to the comic fans, I guess.
Here's another one. I think most people can probably agree on this one. Batman is far more of a criminal these days than a vigilante. I've seen him beat confessions out of people. I've seen him blowing stuff up. He rarely even consults the police anymore. When he sees him, he has to run because, he's a wanted man. It doesn't. Why do they take the character so far?
I just, I don't understand. The character is a billionaire. Doesn't he realize he could take that money and invest it into the homeless and social programs and do far more good than putting on oh, no, sorry, that's a stupid argument. No, I agree. I mean, it's always the law of pushing it, a little bit further and a little bit further. They've got to show him driven. I mean, the storyline they keep going back to with Batman is that it's like now it's really serious. So he's got to really beat up that criminal in order to get a confession because and then some dumb friend gets to stand to the side going, I don't know, Batman, you seem like you're going pretty far here. And Batman's like, no, I'm driven. And then it's like, I don't know, Bruce may be taking this one step too far. And they never really go anywhere with that. They just keep repeating that angle over and over and over again to the point that, Batman's just, I don't know what he's doing anymore. He's just, he drives around, he beats people up, and the Joker escapes every week. I don't know.
Listen, I'm just saying this. If you suspected somebody near you was a criminal, and you got the jump on them, you tied a bungee cord around their ass and threw them off a building, and they were left dangling there, I bet you would go to jail for that shit. I don't think you can do that.
No, you would definitely go to jail for that. Yeah. I mean, and look, even if somebody robbed your store and you chased them down and then you beat them with a brick for a while because you suspected there was somebody behind that person who robbed the store, you would still go to jail. Like you can't just beat up, criminals. Even if they're robbing you can't just do this kind of stuff. You can't hang somebody upside down from a building. You may want to. I mean, God knows I want to every day, but it's not something you can actually do. At least on the air.
If Gordon would deputize him, it'd be a different story. Then he'd have the weight of the law app behind him. But right now, it's just on his own hunch, right?
I mean, if Gordon deputized Batman, I mean, all the calls for police brutality and kind of the BLM movement and everything else. I mean, you can't have Batman on the police force.
Gotham would be immediately bankrupt just settling all the cases.
Oh, there'd be so many lawsuits. Absolutely. Yeah. There'd be protests. And I mean, it's like, he's like, he stands on people's necks all the time. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. So
that's probably a little too far. Yeah.
You should come back a little bit from that one. Yeah. Here's the last one. And this one, I hope most people are with me on this one. Namor is the most screwed over hero at DC or Marvel. Namor should be so cool. He's done so many great things. He's a mutant. He's been an X-Men. He's been an Avenger. He's done all these things, but all the time they're always concentrating on trying to bang Reed Richards' wife and trying to start wars with Black Panther and all this stuff. Yeah. Why do they always treat Namor like this? He's dope.
I mean, in fairness, the promise of hitting Sue Storm's pretty good. I mean, that's you got to take your crack at that.
You wouldn't even see what was happening. It would be like you were looking at your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That would be a turnoff. Yeah.
Who wants to see you humping air?
Well, thanks. There goes that fantasy. I don't know why. I mean, I think this is a case. I'll get more serious for it. I think the case where the comic writers struggle with the idea of royalty. So to them, royalty has to be some kind of douchey a-hole who's constantly being shown to look kind of flawed and dumb. And I think that's where they go with Namor. I mean, the go-to story is, oh, he thinks he's a king, but no, he actually sucks. And that's they always want to kind of show that part of the story. It's why they haven't given him really pants in a long time. They just let the dude run around in Speedos constantly. I mean, they're from the 50s. I mean, at this point, you get some new pants.
It's weird. People like to make fun of Aquaman, but man, I would love for Namor to get the Aquaman treatment. You know what I mean? At least Aquaman's kind of respected every now and again. It's not all that often, although it does happen where Mira steps in and makes him look like a chump. But Namor he's just like an afterthought.
No, nobody's happy when he shows up. I mean, and there's all these, and this has been going on for a long time. Back in the 80s when he was in the Avengers, I mean, they had all cover that I remember vividly where people were pissed that Namor was on the Avengers. And so the cover is just like Namor. He's got his head down. He's like, "Oh,
woe is me.
I guess nobody likes me." And it's like even little wings on his feet are drooping a little bit, and it's like no respect at all. I mean, even Rick and Morty has to clown him with Nimbus. I mean, nobody respects Namor.
Listen, the dude's got the best eyebrow game in all of comic books, regardless of publisher, and he gets no respect.
Yeah. I agree. He's got a lot of powers. He can do a lot of things, but for whatever reason, he is always kind of Marvel's joke. And even when they try and make him a threat, like right now, he's leading the Fish Avengers or whatever he's doing down there. It's like
the Fish Avengers.
It's like a bunch of goofy looking Avengers. I like this. Like, oh, we got a big fish, and here's another kind of shark with legs, and another kind of fish looking thing. Here you go. Let's Fish Avengers assemble. It's just a visual joke.
Absolutely. I hope they have one of those dolphins with the big horn on it, like a unicorn.
Yeah, little narwhal.
Narwhal, absolutely. Narwhal man would be dope on the Fish Avengers.
Yeah, but I mean, what is he even? He's like, we defend the seas, but then like nobody really cares. So they show up and they like threaten some people on a beach, and then they like wander back into the water. It's
Namor again. I guess the party's over.
That's how everybody reacts. Nobody's like, oh crap, here comes this guy. Don't get between him and Sue Storm. But no, it's just they just like, oh, it's Namor.
Yeah. There's another party I wanted to go to anyway. That's what it gets.
Yeah.
So those are 6 inconvenient truths perched. We got Superman and Lois. They've never done it on Earth. Daredevil should absolutely be in jail. He doomed Hell's Kitchen by stealing $3 billion. The Flash and really anybody with speed powers like that is a mass murderer. Peter Parker, unfortunately, is a simp these days. Batman is definitely a criminal. And Namor is just so underrated and underused, it's not even funny.
It's all true. It's absolutely true. What I'm surprised what wasn't on your list was the fact that like Bobby Drake is he leaves around like puddles of water everywhere. All those ice slides that look really cool to draw is just leaving a freaking mess everywhere in homes and buildings, streets. Like you see that guy
fucking up carpets for decades.
Absolutely. I mean, can you imagine? He walks into your house and it's just this spongy mess of moist carpet the entire time.
The drapes, Bobby, the drapes.
Oh, it's just the worst. Yeah, nobody likes him.
Yeah, that's. You can tell a lot of these comic writers aren't married, or they would have considered this when they were writing those stories.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.